Hey guys, this is an OU battle versus What's the Issue? So he sends out his Frostlass first, and I send out my Apollyon. And he decides to set up some spikes while I decide to hydro pump his face off. And so there I go, hydro pumping him all the way down to his focus dash. And as he hangs on to that, he decides to switch because I guess he wants to save for Death File later, and I was going to hydro pump, but I miss. He knew I had a priority move. That's probably why he switched, because he wanted Destiny Bond. Anyways, I hydro pump him like about half, but then his leftovers he eats his leftovers a little bit, and that actually means it's not a 2-hit KO, unfortunately. And I bring him down to like such a smidgen amount of life. I mean, look at that. That's barely anything. But he earthquakes me and brings me down to like 60 life or something like that. And then after burn, brings me down to 20. He eats some leftovers, and then he withdraws into his Umbreon, and his Umbreon gets ice beamed. And guess what happens right here? Nothing much, because he's like a special wall. Anyways, my guy gets burned to death, and I decide to send out a Gengar. And I focus blasted to put some damage on this thing, because I don't like trap passing Umbreons. But his trap passer actually carries a dark move, like, I mean, not many trappers actually carry a move. I mean, it normally has like substitute and curse, but well, that's fine. It worked out in his favor in this case, at this point. Anywho, I send out my Keychain, and Keychain gets hit some spikes, and he sends out his Poke, and his Poke actually dies from Meteor Mash. And then he decides to switch out into his other Death Fodder guy. I mean, I don't know why he did. But, well, maybe because he probably wanted Destiny Bond. Didn't know I had Bullet Punch, but I Bullet Punch it, and it is KO'd, and he sends out his Machamp. I Earthquake Machamp, and it takes about, like, half his life away. But his Dynamic Punch brings me down to 6 HP. And look at this. I'm confused. I mean, I know I was going to get confused, but I was going to explode here, and that would have took care of this annoying Machamp. By confused, I kill myself. Oh, Jesus Lordy. Jesus Lordy. And he, decides to rest a little bit. And so this is a rest talking, Machamp. So I decided to go for the Protect. And he sleep talks into a rest, which is kind of funny. And then I decide to go Encore, but he switches out into his, Ment. Knowing my attack. I'm like, oh, jeez, look at my attack. Anywho, so Encore doesn't work, and I Protect to evade one of his attacks as he was going to go into. And he Dragon Pulses, and that brings me quite low health. I mean, it is going to be 2-hit KOs, but I get the Toxic off, thankfully. And then I decide to Protect. After nom-nomming on some infinite leftovers. And after that, I try protecting again, but unluckily that didn't go through, and my Melon is now KO'd. And looking at my team, I'm not liking too much of this thing. I have 2 Pokes left, and he has 4. I'm like, well, hopefully the Intimidate scares him away, and it does. He goes into his Umbreon, and he's going to try to set up. Well, while he set ups, I'm going to start setting up. I substitute, and I Dragon Dance. Dragon Dance number 1. There we go. Payback gets rid of my sub. And I go for a... After this 5-hour long leftover thing, I go for another Dragon Dance. Dragon Dance number 2. And he mean looks me, so now my Gyarados can switch into my Star Me. Which I wasn't going to anyways. So, anyways. I Dragon Dance again. Make it Dragon Dance number 3. So my guy's pretty fast, pretty strong now. He sends out his Machamp, his sleeping Machamp, and he actually said he forgot it was sleeping. He could have broke my sub if he decided to go Rest Talk here and got something else besides Rest. But that's like 66% chance he would have got it, so it's pretty good chance he was going to. But he paybacks now after my 4th Dragon Dance to get rid of my sub, and I decide, I'm like, I'm going to go all out. I'm going to Dragon Dance one more time, and hopefully I won't die to his payback. because I resist his dynamic punch. And I do live it, which is really good. And I waterfall, and here I go for the sweep. Actually, it was kind of funny because we had a battle before this. Before he got disconnected. His Gengar actually, when I had 2 Dragon Dances up, actually outsped my Gyarados, which is really bad for me, but whatever, you know. So I take him out, and he goes into a Salamence, and now I'm like +4 attack and +5 speed. But I Ice Fang him for the death. And then he sends out his last poke, which is Umbreon, and that's easily going to die from a waterfall. But that was a great game. What's the issue? It was a lot of fun. But everybody else, subscribe and rate and comment. And thank you very much. Peace, guys.